Welcome to the deep dive. Ready to go deep? Today, it's all about the flu shot.
A controversial one.
Yeah, it can be. We're diving into an article called The Influenza Vaccine, a deep dive into science, skepticism, and surprising facts. Should be interesting.
Definitely.
Hopefully, we uncover some surprising facts and bust some myths about the flu shot along the way.
Sounds good.
So, before we jump into the article, I think it's important to remind everyone just how widespread influenza is.
Right.
It's easy to think of it as just a bad cold, but it's way more than that.
For sure. Globally, up to 1 billion cases, millions in the U.S. each year.
And, yeah, thousands of deaths annually.
Sadly, yes.
Not just a sniffle, that's for sure.
No, not at all. It's a serious public health concern.
So, let's talk about the flu shot itself. How does this shot actually work?
Well, it essentially trains your immune system to fight the virus. It introduces a weakened or inactive version of the virus, and that allows your body to recognize it and build up defenses.
So it's like a sneak peek for your immune system.
Yeah, like showing it a wanted poster so it's ready if the real deal shows up.
That's a good way to put it. And I know there are different types of flu vaccines, right?
Yeah, a few different ones. There's the inactivated flu vaccine, which uses a killed virus.
Right.
And the live attenuated vaccine that has a weakened version.
Okay.
There's a high-dose one for seniors, too.
And there's also a recombinant vaccine that doesn't actually use any flu viruses at all, right?
Exactly. Different options depending on your needs.
So plenty of choices out there. But I've heard people say, I never get the flu, so why bother? What would you say to that?
Well, you might not get sick, but you can still spread it before you even know you have it.
Oh, that's right. Even before symptoms show up. So you could be infecting others without knowing it.
Exactly. Like you could pass it on to someone who's more vulnerable, like, your grandma. Not good.
No, definitely not. And then there's the argument that it's just the flu, no big deal. But we know that's not always true.
Right. It can lead to serious complications for some people. Pneumonia, bronchitis, even inflammation of the heart.
Definitely not something to take lightly. Okay, let's talk about the myths surrounding the flu shot. There are a lot out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's bust them. First one, does the flu shot actually give you the flu?
Nope. The viruses in the shot are either inactivated or weakened, so they can't cause the illness itself.
So you can't get the flu from the flu shot. Myth busted.
Busted.
Another one I hear a lot is about dangerous toxins in the vaccine. Is there any truth to that?
Not at all. The ingredients, like thimerosal, which is a preservative in some multi-dose vials, have been extensively studied and you're safe.
So no need to worry about toxins. What about the idea that the flu shot actually weakens your immune system?
Quite the opposite, actually. It strengthens your immune system by teaching it how to recognize and fight off the virus.
So it's a workout for your immune system, makes it stronger.
Yeah, exactly. Like boot camp for your immune system. Gets it ready for battle.
So we've busted a few myths already. It seems like a lot of these misconceptions stem from a misunderstanding of how the flu shot works.
Absolutely. That's why education is so important.
It's all about understanding the facts.
Exactly.
Back again from a deep dive. This flu shot deep dive has been, well, fascinating.
Really is.
Definitely not what I expected. Before the break, we were about to get to some, well, surprising facts about the flu.
Oh, yeah? Got some good ones?
Hit me with them. Got to be ready for my next trivia night.
Okay, so imagine this. You're looking at a flu virus under a microscope.
Okay.
What do you see? A tiny spiky ball.
Spiky. Like what?
Yeah, kind of like, I don't know, a medieval weapon.
Like a microscopic mace? That's kind of terrifying. But also really cool.
Right. And these little attackers, they're incredibly small.
I bet. How small are we talking?
Like 100 nanometers.
Wow. I can't even picture that.
Basically 1,000 times smaller than a grain of sand. Hard to believe something that tiny can, take down a human.
It really shows you how powerful these little things can be. Speaking of powerful, the 1918 flu pandemic. That was, that was something else.
Definitely a global catastrophe. The article mentioned it. Really puts things in perspective.
Yeah, a third of the world infected, 50 million deaths at least. That's more than World War I.
It is. A sobering reminder that the flu, well, it's not just a minor inconvenience.
No, not at all. It makes you appreciate, I don't know, the advancements in medicine and things like vaccines.
Yeah.
But even with all that, vaccine hesitancy is still a thing.
It is.
Lots of reasons for that, I guess.
Right. Some worry about safety. Others maybe distrust institutions. It's a complex issue for sure.
Yeah. So if someone is hesitant, on the fence about getting the shot, how would you encourage them to consider it?
Well, I always highlight the fact that the flu shot is, well, it's one of the most effective ways to reduce your risk of getting sick. And even if you do get the flu, it can make it less severe,
So shorter and less miserable.
Yeah. Who wants to be stuck in bed for a week feeling awful?
Nobody. So it's like a seatbelt, right? You hope you never need it, But it's there to protect you if you do.
Exactly.
And not just you, the people around you, too.
Oh, absolutely. Especially those who are more vulnerable, like the elderly or people with compromised immune systems.
Right. So it's not just about protecting yourself. It's also about protecting others, those around you.
It's like we're all in this together, playing a giant game of keep away with these little spiky
I
viruses.
like that we're a team. But some people say the flu shot isn't 100% effective, so why bother? What do you say to that?
Well, yeah, no vaccine is 100% effective. It's about reducing your risk, not eliminating it entirely. It's kind of like wearing a raincoat on a cloudy day.
You're prepared even if it doesn't rain.
Exactly. You're ready just in case. And with the flu, that preparation could be, the difference between a mild sniffle and a serious complication.
Yeah, good point. And even if you do get sick, the shot can make it a lot milder, like we said.
Yep. A lot shorter, too. Nobody wants to be down and out for a week.
No, for sure. It sounds like there's a lot of benefits to getting the flu shot beyond just personal protection. It's like a community effort.
It really is, creating a safer, healthier environment for everyone.
Okay, so anything else surprising about the flu? Got to keep learning.
Well, here's a fun fact that might make you think twice before touching stuff in public.
Okay, I'm listening. Germaphobe over here.
Flu viruses can live on surfaces, like doorknobs, for example,
Oh, that's not good. How long?
up to 48 hours.
Seriously.
48 hours.
Yeah. So, it's really important to be mindful about hygiene, especially during flu season.
Okay, so hand washing is a must-do. What else? How can we minimize the spread of these microscopic hitchhikers in our everyday lives?
Well, think about everything you touch throughout the day, right? Doorknobs, elevator buttons, shopping carts, hot spots for flu viruses. So be aware of what you're touching and try not to touch your face too much.
That's a hard one. I touch my face all the time without even realizing it. I know, it's tough. But just being aware of it is a good first step. Then you can start to consciously reduce those touches.
I'll try. What about hand sanitizer? Is that good enough, or do you really need to wash your hands?
Hand sanitizer can be helpful, yeah, especially when you can't get to soap and water. Just make sure it has at least 60% alcohol. That's what kills the flu virus.
Okay, good to know. And of course, got to cover those coughs and sneezes
The vampire sneeze.
into your elbow. Much more hygienic than using your hands.
Right, stops those droplets from flying everywhere. Definitely prefer the vampire image to that.
Exactly. And if you do use a tissue, toss it right away and wash your hands.
Got it. Breaking the chain. And if you are sick, stay home, right? Even if it's just a sniffle.
Definitely. Better safe than sorry. Protect yourself and everyone else. It's the right thing to do.
Common sense. So as we're wrapping up this part of our deep dive, it's clear that the flu shot, it's not just about personal protection. It's about a collective responsibility. I think that's a great way to put it. It's about realizing that our individual choices, they have a bigger impact. It's about community health, too.
Like we're all part of one giant immune system working together.
I love that. The power of collective action. We're all connected.
Back for the final part of our flu shot deep dive. It's been quite a journey. Really makes you appreciate the complexity of this yearly ritual.
It is fascinating, isn't it? There's so much more to it than just, getting a quick jab.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we move on, you left us hanging with that stat about flu viruses surviving on surfaces for like 2 whole days.
48 hours? Yeah, those little guys are pretty resilient.
Makes you kind of paranoid about touching anything, right? So hand washing is a must, obviously. But what else could we do, in our daily lives to minimize the spread of, those microscopic hitchhikers you talked about?
Well, think about all the things you touch throughout the day, right? Doorknobs, elevated buttons, those touch screens at the checkout, all potential breeding grounds for flu viruses. So first, just being aware of what you're touching. That's a big one.
Yeah, makes sense. And not touching your face, which is like mission impossible for me.
I know, it's hard, but just being more conscious of it can help. Catch yourself before you do it.
I'll try. Okay, so hand sanitizer, good backup plan if you can't wash your hands right away.
Definitely, especially if you're, out and about. Just make sure it's at least 60% alcohol. That's what really does the trick against those flu viruses.
Okay, good to know. And of course, the classic, cover those coughs and sneezes. Always wondered, is it better to use a tissue or like cough into your elbow?
Oh, the elbow's better. The ven sneeze, we call it.
Vampire sneeze.
Yeah, much better at stopping those droplets from going everywhere.
Definitely a more appealing image, less gross.
Exactly. And if you do use a tissue, toss it right away and wash your hands thoroughly.
Got it. Break the chain. And if you do get sick, just stay home, right? Even if you're just feeling a little under the weather.
Absolutely. Better to be safe than sorry. You'll protect yourself and everyone else. It's the responsible thing to do.
Yeah, it's basic common sense, really. So as we're wrapping up the whole flu shot deep dive, it's really striking how it's not just about individual protection. It's about, like, a sense of community.
I agree. It's about understanding that our choices, they have an impact on others. It's a collective responsibility, you could say.
Like we're all part of this giant immune system fighting together.
Love that. The power of working together. We're all connected in a way.
Well, I've learned a lot from this deep dive. I hope our listeners have too. We've explored the science, busted those myths, and even uncovered some pretty surprising facts about the flu or the flu shot.
It's been a fun journey. Hopefully our listeners feel more informed now, empowered to make their own decisions about their health and the health of their communities.
Absolutely. A big thank you to you for joining us on this deep dive and sharing all your insights.
It's been a pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the